Greetings, Exile. Before the settlers of Calgar begin, I shared a build idea for a Bleed Earthquake Gladiator. Following that, I posted a leveling guide and promised 2 more parts. Today, I'm presenting the second part, which will cover mapping. Let's dive in. As I mentioned at the end of the previous video, before you begin mapping, ensure you have at least 2.5k maximum life and 75% all resistances, except chaos resistance, which isn't crucial at the start, but should eventually be brought to positive. Look for gear with as much maximum life as possible while keeping your resistances balanced. For the skill tree, we don't need much damage initially, so we'll focus on sustainability. Invest more in life nodes, increase your maximum endurance charges, and take the protection mastery for corrupted blood immunity. By the end of white maps, your skill tree should look something like this. While in white maps, I focused on farming Syndicate and Expedition, as this build is an exceptional expedition farmer. Just activate your Vaal Earthquake, run through packs of monsters, and the bleed explosions will take care of the rest. Now let's move on to yellow maps. The start of yellow maps is the perfect time to complete your 4th and final lab, which will provide the more than skill ascendancy, making our chance to block lucky if we have blocked recently. To enter the 4th lab, you will need a special offering found by completing Trials of Ascendancy in maps. These trials will randomly appear as you start yellow maps. If you're having trouble finding the trial, there's a neat trick. Check Kirak's yellow tier missions when you start yellow maps. Often, one of his missions will have the objective to complete a Trial of Ascendancy. For gear, look out for shields with high maximum life, some resistance, and at least 20% chance to avoid elemental ailments. By this time, you might also want to upgrade your weapon as your damage will start to fall off. For the skill tree, we will invest more in life and add rare jewels that boost our bleed damage. By the end of yellow maps, your skill tree should look something like this. Before we enter red maps, we will opt out of Purity of Elements and use Malevolence for more damage. To do this, we need to attain ailment immunity without Purity of Elements. Here's how I achieved it. 20% chance to avoid ailments from Shield Mastery, 20% from the Thick Skin Life Circle on the tree, 25% from a craft on body armor, 20% from the shield, and 15% from an eater implicit on boots. Lastly, let's talk about red maps. Before starting red maps, my recommendation is to have at least a 5 link, if not a 6 link. If you have a 5 link, add brutality support. If you have a 6 link, add deadly ailments as well. For gear, craft a new axe, as your damage will fall off significantly. To do this, grab an Elder-influenced Reaver or Royal Axe and use Reforge Physical a few times until you get something decent. Look for either Culling Strike against bleeding enemies or increased damage over time. Multiplier for bleeding with as high damage as possible. If you can't get anything decent, your best bet is using the unique axe Jack the Axe, which provides more damage with bleeding and has pretty high damage scaling but reserves your life. For your shield, get a Shaper Shield with a chance to avoid elemental ailments and recover life on block. For your ring, get one with vulnerability on hit. An easy way to acquire this is to take a Warlord base and use Reforge Caster on it using the Harvest Bench until you get the Vulnerability mod. For the rest of your gear, look for Spell Suppression, Maximum Life, and Resistances on armor. On jewelry, prioritize Maximum Life, Attributes, and Resistances. As for the skill tree, we will invest in Spell Suppression, take the Mastery for Spell Suppression, and use a small cluster jewel that provides Exploit Weakness for huge sustain while mapping, as we recover life for every monster we kill. We are also going to pick the Keystone Iron Reflexes to convert all the evasion rating we have into armor. By the end of red maps, your skill tree should look something like this. Overall, while doing red maps, aim to get at least 4k plus maximum life and 100% spell suppression. Any hits we don't block should be suppressed, otherwise it's -1 portal in softcore and RIP in hardcore. Even on a budget, the build has performed quite well and is very balanced. I even attempted a few tier 17 maps with this build and was able to complete all of them. As I mentioned in the previous part, there will be one more part coming. In that part, I'll provide you with the full build guide, explanation of core concept behind the build, and showcase for min-maxed version. Since min-maxing can take quite a bit of time, it will be a while before the final part comes out. If you like our content and want to stay updated on what's coming next, please consider subscribing or even joining our Discord server. There you can get help for your builds, updates on our activities, and sneak peeks of what's coming next much before it appears on YouTube. As always, thanks for watching.